You know, forgiveness, it's a word we all hear all the time, but do we really understand what it is? It's not about just forgetting or saying it's okay. It's something way more powerful than that. And today, we're going to take a look under the hood. We're going to dissect the anatomy of forgiveness.
And isn't this where it always starts? In this quiet internal fight. It's that moment right before someone says sorry, right before there's any chance of fixing things, where your pride is just screaming louder than your hurt. I think we've all been there.
Look, to really get what forgiveness is all about, we can't just talk about ideas. We need a real story. So we're going to follow the story of Daniel and Marcus. They're two brothers who were separated not by some huge screaming fight, but by 10 years of growing silence.
So how does that even happen? How does a relationship just break apart so completely? Well, for Daniel and Marcus, it all started with what you might call an emotional debt, a debt of silence that just kept growing and growing with interest.
This idea of resentment as a debt, it's actually a perfect way to think about it. See, it's not a one-time thing. It's this slow, quiet buildup. Every little hurt that you don't talk about, every feeling that gets ignored, well, that's like interest piling on year after year until you can't even remember what the original problem was.
So for these two brothers, this is where it all began. Their dad was sick, and a huge, life-changing decision had to be made. Marcus, the older brother, he made the call by himself. Now for Daniel, it wasn't even about the decision itself, it was about feeling completely erased, like he didn't even matter. And from that one moment, the silence just spiraled. A phone call goes unanswered, then a text message goes unread, and before you know it, a decade has passed.
And here's the thing. This emotional debt, it isn't just some clever idea. It has a real physical weight. It actually changes how your mind and your body work.
This is actually incredible. When you're holding on to a grudge, a part of your brain, the part that's always scanning for danger, it basically goes on high alert and never turns off. You are literally physically living as if that old threat is happening right now in this very moment. It's like being in a constant state of low-key stress.
And living like that, it takes a serious toll. You can't sleep right. You find yourself snapping at things for no reason. Your body is just swimming in stress hormones because that fight or flight response is always on. The past stops being a memory. It becomes the state you're living in every single day.
And that's exactly why Daniel felt so completely stuck. I mean, he changed everything on the outside. He moved to a new city, got a different job, made new friends, but it didn't make a bit of difference because emotionally, he was still stuck in that one moment from 10 years ago. That resentment was an anchor holding him in the past.
So for 10 years, nothing. Just static. And then something finally broke through. And it all came down to a single, incredibly powerful apology.
Imagine hearing those words after a decade. That's what Marcus said, standing on Daniel's doorstep. Now really listen to what's not in that sentence. There's no, but I was stressed, no excuses, no trying to explain himself, and maybe most important of all, he's not asking to be forgiven. He's just offering understanding. That's it.
So why did this apology land so perfectly? Well, it's because it follows a kind of formula for actually healing something. Let's break it down. First, it acknowledges the harm. It says your feelings are valid. Second, it takes complete responsibility. That I was wrong is huge. And third, it doesn't try to argue. No defense, no explanations, just a focus on the emotional damage.
And this right here is the absolute key to the whole thing. Marcus didn't try to argue about the medical decision from years ago. He apologized for the real wound, making his brother feel invisible. See, you can't heal a wound by explaining why you caused it. You heal it by simply acknowledging that it's there.
So that apology, it finally cracked the door open. But what Daniel chose to do next, what he did for himself, that's where we get to the real heart of what forgiveness is all about.
Okay, so let's get one thing straight, because we have so many wrong ideas about this. Forgiveness is not forgetting what happened. It is not saying the behavior was okay. It's not pretending it never happened. No. Forgiveness is an act of choice. It's you deciding that the past no longer gets to call the shots in your present or your future. And the moment you make that choice, your body knows. It's almost instant. That threat detection system we talked about, it finally powers down. The stress hormones fade away. Your whole nervous system gets the memo. It's over. You're safe now.
And this really is the core of it all.
Marcus's apology was the key that unlocked the door, but the act of forgiving, that was all for Daniel. He wasn't letting his brother off the hook. He was unhooking himself from 10 years of pain. In the end, forgiveness is an act of setting yourself free.
And hey, let's be real here. Healing isn't magic. One conversation didn't just wipe away a decade of hurt. Building that trust again was slow, it was probably awkward. But what that apology did was create a chance. It didn't change the past, but it made damn sure that the past wasn't going to poison another 10 years of their future.
So we'll just leave you with this question. If there's a resentment that you're holding on to, take a second and ask yourself, honestly, after all this time, is that wall you've built around yourself still protecting you, or has it slowly, quietly become your prison?